Ladies and gentlemen, this is Intervlog. I say this is Intervlog, and I am here once more. I'm here because there is one important information that I brought you today, and this information is unbelievable. I say the information is unbelievable. And you would ask me, what is that information all about? Well, it's about the position of Algeria on the attack that happened in Mali on 25th of July 2024. And the position of Algeria is unbelievable. I still have another news, which is what is happening between Mali and Ukraine, because Mali accuses Ukraine of sponsoring rebel or armed group against their country. And that case is very serious. So let's listen to how Mali accused Ukraine and also to chase Ukraine out of their country. So let's go and hear it. Then we come back and talk about the position of Algeria, because Algeria is actually indirectly backing the Tuareg group, which is the armed group that attacked Mali. And you will have to know that Algeria and Mali Sheikh Bandre, this thing is not looking good at all. Because Algeria had said that what happened there is not an attack, that it is a war. But let's go and listen to how Ukraine and Mali are solving their issue, or scattering their issues. So on Ukraine and Mali, this is their situation today. Mali government announces severance of diplomatic relations with Ukraine. The Republic of Mali has announced that it is severing diplomatic relations with Ukraine, citing Kyiv's alleged support for Tuareg rebels who recently destroyed a convoy of Malian military and Russian Wagner private military company, PMC, mercenaries. The Malian authorities pointed out that a high-ranking Ukrainian official had acknowledged Ukraine's involvement in the loss of life of Malian army and Wagner PMC personnel by Tuareg rebels in late July. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Senegal summoned Ukrainian ambassador Yuri Pivovarov over the embassy's Facebook post, where a Ukrainian diplomat allegedly expressed support for the Tuareg rebels in Mali. The statement said the Malian government expressed deep surprise at the subversive statements made by Defense Intelligence of Ukraine spokesperson Andriy Yusov, who acknowledged Ukraine's involvement in the attack by armed gang groups that led to the loss of Malian army personnel. The communiqué also stated that Yuri Pivovarov, Ukrainian ambassador to Senegal, openly and unequivocally demonstrated his country's support. The Malian government is accusing Ukraine of supporting armed groups in Africa, particularly in Mali. And consequently, Mali has announced the following decisions: immediate severance of diplomatic relations between Mali and Ukraine, referral to the competent judicial authorities regarding the statements made by Andriy Yusov and Yuri Pivovarov, which are promoting armed groups, implementation of necessary measures to prevent any destabilization of Mali by African states, particularly by Ukrainian embassies located in the region, official notification to regional and international bodies as well as states supporting Ukraine that Ukraine openly and publicly demonstrates its support for armed groups, with Mali considering Ukraine's actions as support for international armed groups. The Malian army and its Russian allies have suffered losses from Tuareg rebels supported by Ukraine. On Saturday, Tuaregs from the CSP-PSD movement showed photos and videos of a destroyed Wagner private military company, PMC convoy. Now, you have seen and heard what is happening between Ukraine and Mali. Things are not looking good at all. I don't think things will get better soon over there because Ukraine military or soldier had accepted that they played a role on that attack. Now, the role he mentioned could mean so many things because he said they provided intelligence. Intelligence in military means a lot of things. Provide intelligence in military means a lot. Now, let's go back to Algeria. What is happening in Algeria over this matter? Because the Algerian has just come out to say that what is happening there is war. This provoked Mali because Mali and Algeria were friends before today. Even Algeria was the one mediating, making sure that there is a peace there. Algeria is also fighting some armed group in Tuareg. So they were friends until today. When Algeria said that what is happening in the border of Algeria and Mali, where the Tuareg lives and where the attack happened, is war, that they are fighting war there. So this is the response of Mali after Algeria came out to declare that what is happening there is a war. That is not an attack. Hear what Mali answered. Does Algeria have lessons to give to our country? Algeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, by affirming the return to civil war in our country following the recent clashes in the north, is making a simplistic reading of the situation. Today, our country is being attacked and assaulted by armed groups that have established collusion in order to achieve their ultimate goal, the partition of Mali. And the Algiers Agreement, which was one of the locks against this Machiavellian project, was torpedoed by these groups in full view of Algeria, which was then the leader of the mediation. Also, contrary to what the head of Algerian diplomacy says, Mali is not only in the military solution to resolve this problem, hence the inter-Malian dialogue with a view to achieving peace and national reconciliation. Algeria has again spoken out on the situation in our country through its Minister of Foreign Affairs, while tension is high between the Malian armed forces and separatist groups around the town of Tinzaouaten, where there have been many losses of human life. Thus, responding to a question during a press conference at the headquarters of the ministry, Mr. Attaf stressed that the denunciation of the agreement is detrimental to all the gains made in this country, while adding that everything that Algeria feared is today a reality in the region with the return of the civil war against which it had warned. The government of our country denounced the Algiers Agreement because after 8 years of implementation, it failed to achieve a sincere peace between the protagonists. And the only achievement of this document, signed in 2015 following 8 long months of talks, was compromised when the armed groups attacked the armed forces that were preparing to occupy the Bur camp. A hold that, however, rightfully belonged to the central state according to the MINUSMA texts. Also, the armed groups have poured themselves into declarations of war to be unfair. The international mediation with its head Algeria has remained lax in the face of the situation. What is the value of an agreement if it is incapable of making peace? What peace process is there when the protagonists take life of each other? Are we going to remain forever in this agreement, emptied of its values and principles? The evidence is that after 8 years, the agreement has shown its limits with the passive and active complicity of international mediation. As proof, the Algerian president received several movements in favor of the partition of our country without the authorities being informed, an attitude that has also reinforced the doubt about the sincerity of Algeria in successfully monitoring the implementation of this agreement. So it was logical for Mali to find another alternative. Like Algeria, Mali also has the right to experiment with its own solutions with a view to achieving peace, hence the initiative of the Inter-Malian Dialogue, initiated by the transitional president, Assimi Goïta. This dialogue, which brought together communities from all regions, recommended in particular the development of a national charter for peace, the preliminary draft of which is currently being drafted. In this regard, our country is not in a dynamic of pursuing only the military option to impose peace, as the government has repeatedly stated. What has this Algeria, cited as an example in the fight against armed groups, done to make peace at home? It waged a fierce fight against the armed groups in order to weaken them before moving on to the political phase with dialogue. After having acted in this way, does this country have lessons to give to Mali? And after Mali had answered Algeria, Mali also has caught ties with Algeria. The peacemaking Algeria had been playing in between the Tuareg, and Mali has been caught. They are not having any relationship between them right now. And that is how bad things are looking over there. The major topic now is that there are about 14 to 16 drones flying within that region. Those drones were owned by Ibrahim Traoré, Assimi Goïta, and Tiane. The Sahel Alliance has surrendered that region with drones. Those boys that attacked the Malian soldiers, majority of them have been arrested. A lot have been sent to heaven. And the situation there is locked down. Everybody is at home. You can't move an inch. With the pictures that the Ukraine provided online, They used that picture to identify the faces of the people who Ukraine trained, and they were going picking them one by one. And it is so serious over there. My prayer is, whether it is war or whether it is an attack, let there be peace in Africa, because this is how war starts. Before you know it, Ukraine is supporting one group. Russia will come to support. America will come to support. That is exactly how the World War started. Something similar to this. Have you seen where two countries in Europe, Russia and Ukraine, started their war at home? Now, they are in West Africa, dragging a region called Tuareg in Sahel. You started your fight at home. Do you want to finish it in Africa? Our prayer is, let there be no war in Africa. We don't want a war in Africa. Thank you very much for watching. This is the Intervlog.